All right, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. We're going to get into it. Global Marketing Management, Week 6, Segmentation, Targeting, Positioning, Round 2 of the weekend. So what's global market segmentation? So it's the process of identifying specific segments, countries, groups, or individual consumers in consumer groups across countries of potential customers with homogeneous attributes who are likely to exhibit similar buying behavior. So it's basically you're putting people and countries or cities or groups of people, whatever, into a certain group. Okay, it's put into a certain group, and you're saying, okay, these guys are all similar. They all behave similarly. They all buy similarly. They all react to this product similarly, basically. Okay, so that's global market segmentation. You're just identifying specific segments. Those different types of market segmentation: demographic, behavioral, geographic, and psychographic. All right. So when we talk about demographic, it's the most common form. So they usually so basically it's stuff they group people in ways based off of their age, their sex, marital status, family size, occupation, education level, income, race, nationality, and religion. It's the most basic form of segmentation. One of the benefits of this segmentation is that the information is relatively easily accessible and low cost to obtain. So when you're looking at just regular demographic segmentation, it's actually kind of easy to pinpoint to find the values and to find the people because it's so readily available. It's everywhere. It's the easiest form of segmentation. Um, One personal care company, for example, might make two deodorant products, one labeled as men's deodorant and one labeled as women's deodorant, right? So it's very easy because you're just basing it off sex. So you're selling your demographic segmentation to be, okay, you're making antiperspirant deodorant for men, and then you're also making it for women. So that's how they segment their market. One company may have a luxury brand, an economy brand, and a mid-range brand, right? So we know Volkswagen owns a bunch of different companies, right? They own Porsche, own Lamborghini, Audi, and Volkswagen. So, there's obviously their lower brand, mid brand, and high brand, right? So what's behavioral segmentation? So you can also segment your market based off consumer behaviors regarding your product. So dividing your audience based on behaviors allows you to display, allows you to, based on behaviors they display, allows you to create messaging that caters to those behaviors. So if you know what your customer, how they behave, you'll be able to, like the target market. Let's just say we're marketing into Toronto, and we know exactly how the people in Toronto behave. So we're going to focus our marketing on trying to our marketing, like our advertisements and all that stuff, to try and impress the Toronto market and attract the Toronto market. Okay. So some types of behaviors to look at include online shopping habits, actions taken on a website, benefits sought, usage rate, loyalty. So stuff like this, behavioral segmentation, you can get basically is it's data, it's online data that you can get from your website. Like you can see, let's just say you have a store in Canada. You can see how many people are purchasing from Toronto, how many people are purchasing from Calgary, how many people are purchasing from Edmonton, stuff like that. So you can see where how everyone's behaviors are, right? So you can see all that stuff online. So you have your online shopping habits, actions taken when you're on your website. Like what are they doing when they're on your website? Like people from Toronto, you can see, oh, okay, they click on, let's say you're selling jackets. Oh, they click on jackets with fur. Okay, so more people want jackets with fur. Let's try and make more products that have jackets with fur. Get it? Stuff like that. That's behavioral segmentation. Geographic segmentation is basically it's very simple. Geographic segmentation is based off people's where they live, basically the geography. Okay, um, so splitting up your market based on their location is a basic but highly useful segmentation strategy. A customer's location can help you better understand their needs and enable you to send out location specific ads. So, living in Canada and you are a tire manufacturer in Malaysia, you're selling all over the world, and you want to start targeting the Canadian market. You're obviously going to start trying to sell them winter tires, all season tires, because Canadian weather is so it has so many different climates and weather in Canada. So you have to have stuff that will work for all the seasons as opposed to selling into Dubai where it's hot, it's warm all the time. You're not going to sell them winter tires, right? So that's the type of geographic segmentation that a lot of companies do. So the most basics, identifying users based on their location, such as their country, state, county, or zip code. Dividing a market according to location is critical if you need to target and add to people in a specific area, right? If you're looking to target in India, or if you're looking to target in different parts of the world, obviously you're gonna want to target those countries based off their buying habits and who they are and stuff like that. So if you're trying to sell to that country, you're gonna obviously want to use geographic segmentation. Companies can also consider different needs in different regions. A clothing company, for instance, will show ads featuring warmer clothes, like I said, right? For people living in cooler climates. So you're obviously not going to try to sell Canada Goose in Dubai, because they're going to be like, what the hell? Why the hell do we need this? But you could sell it in London, UK. It gets cold and rainy there. You want to keep yourself warm. You can send it. You can advertise in London, UK. Psychographic segmentation. So it's like demographic segmentation, but it deals with characteristics that are more mental and emotional. These attributes may not be easy to observe as demographics, but they can give you valuable insight into your audience's motives, preferences, and needs. Probably one of the hardest things to get, hardest ways to segment based off people's psychographics, so based off people's emotions and feelings. But once you do tap into that, you'll be able to market the most efficiently, because people, in general, humans are very emotional creatures. They run a lot of the things they do is based off of emotion, and if you know how your clients and your customers react to your product on an emotional level, then you're going to be able to be a lot more successful in selling that product, because you know what they're going to feel. So understanding these aspects of your audience can help you create content that appeals to them more effectively. Some examples of psychographic characteristics include personality traits, interests, beliefs, values, attitudes, and lifestyles. If you find that members of a demographic segment are responding differently to your content, you might want to add in some psychographic information. Okay, so if you're using the demographic segmentation, with demographic you can always couple it with another segmentation, right? All these are interchangeable. You can all work them together. So if you're using demographic segmentation, you can also include psychographic segmentation at the same time to get even more insight on your market segment. So say you're a furniture and home decor company, and you have a market segment consisting of newlyweds in their 20s and 30s with a household income of about 60,000. Some members of the segment are converting while others are not. When you add psychographic information to the mix, you may find that people that purchase your products often value community and friendships and are environmentally friendly and conscious. Based on this information, you could create ads that show people entertaining friends in their home and emphasize the environmentally friendly attributes of your brand. See, now, your demographic is, okay, you got 20s and 30-year-olds who are newlyweds. But when you include psychographics into it, you kind of understand who is purchasing what and why emotionally are they purchasing that product. So you start to understand how the customer really behaves. You're really looking at how the customer behaves. So Once you understand how the customer behaves, you're a lot more effective in marketing. A lot more effective. Okay, so for example, I don't know how you guys with Purist College, like how you guys chose Purist College, but Purist College kind of sells, they kind of sell people on they sell people in India on like the parents of these kids on a dream, right, of their kids coming to Canada and working in Canada, stuff like that. So they're kind of hitting those emotional buttons, and that's what good marketing is, right? They tell you, hey, listen, if you come to Canada, you have a better life, you get freedom, stuff like that. I know a lot of Punjabis and in India are not seen as real Indians because all these other castes or whatever religions or whatever you call them, they don't see them as the same, right? So Punjabi people, a lot of people from Punjab are trying to come to Canada because they want to have their own life, they want to have their own identity, and in India they can't have that identity, so they're having a lot of issues. So they always come here. So Pures is good at selling that dream, right? I'm not saying Pures goes out and tries to sell the dream, but of course they know what their customers, the clients want. So product market grid, okay? A very important tool that is widely used to determine business growth opportunities. Has two dimensions, products and markets. From these two dimensions, four strategies can be formed. Market penetration, market development, product development, diversification. Okay, we'll get into this a little bit more. So what's market penetration? Market penetration refers to the successful selling of a product or service in a specific market. It is measured by the amount of sales volume of an existing good or service compared to the total target market of that product or service. Okay, so market penetration refers to the successful selling of a product or service in a specific market. It is measured by the amount of sales volume of an existing good or service compared to the total target market for that product or service. Okay, so market penetration basically means it's kind of like market share. So if you have a car company that sells into Canada, what's their market share? Oh, they have 50% of the entire market. That's their market penetration. Okay, so 50% of the market. Market development is a growth strategy and identifies and develops new market segments for current products. So market development strategy targets non-buying customers in a currently targeted segment. It also targets new customers in new segments. Okay, so market development basically is, let's just say that you're selling the cell phone and it's selling really well in let's say it's selling really well in China. Okay, or let's say it's selling really well in Toronto. Okay, but it's not selling well in Vancouver. Like people don't know about it too much. So what you're gonna do is you try to develop your market in Vancouver for this product that's selling really well here in Toronto. Also, you're gonna try and sell to more people in Toronto because it's already being sold in Toronto. People are liking it, so why don't we get more people to get this product? So that's what market development is. You're just trying to develop your market for your product. Product development is a process of bringing an original product idea to market. So when you're doing product development is when you're making a new product, right? So it can be broken down to 6 stages: ideation, research, planning, prototyping, sourcing, and costing. Okay, so that's product development. And diversification basically is to enter new products or new product lines, new services or new markets involving substantially different skills, technology, and knowledge. So diversification is literally just basically what you're doing is if you're selling cell phones, okay, now you're selling cell phone cases, now you're selling earphones, now you're selling Bluetooth speakers, now you're selling all that. So that you're diversifying your portfolio. You're not only just selling cell phones. All right. So basically the same thing. So the Ansoff matrix is the product market grid. It's the same exact thing. Okay. So if you look at if you kind of try to understand the Ansoff matrix, you have products on the top, you have markets on the left. Okay. So if you have an existing market and you have an existing product, what are you going to do? You're going to use a market penetration strategy. So if you already have market, you already have the market, and let's say you're still selling cell phones in Toronto. You have the existing market and you have the existing product. What are you going to do? You can do a market penetration strategy. Okay, so you're gonna try and get the most out of your product, right? You're gonna try and get the most people to buy this product. Your market penetration. You're trying to get more market share. Okay. Now let's just say that you have a new market, but you have an existing product. So we're in Toronto selling very well. We want to sell in Vancouver. So you can do a market development strategy. So Vancouver doesn't have a lot of your product, so what you can do is a market development strategy, because it's a new market, but an existing product. You know, you see what I'm saying? And then you have, if let's say if it's a new product in an existing market, a new product, existing market. Okay, so the market's already there, but there's a new product that comes out. You can do a product development strategy. Okay, you can try and develop your product. Product development strategy. Remember how I said is bringing a brand new, like a brand new cell phone into the industry. Okay, so that's basically when you have a new product in an existing market, you try to bring a new product in there. So you have a new cell phone that comes in. So you do a product development strategy. And then if you have new markets or new products, if you have new market and a new product, so it's brand new, completely brand new, you can try and use a diversification strategy. Okay, so you have a new market and you have a new product. You're going to be using a diversification strategy. So if you're getting into a new market and you already sell cell phones, you already sell, you know, a really nice cell phone, but you want to get a new product and you're going into a new market, you start with, okay, I'm gonna get into the headphone business. So that's a new product in a new market you haven't touched before. So that's where you use a diversification strategy. So that was week 6. Very simple, straightforward. So we're gonna get into week 7 now. So basically importing, exporting, and sourcing. So export selling. So selling to a foreign country with a focus on the product and the emphasis on selling. The key elements of the product of the marketing mix, product, price, promotion, and channels of distribution are all the same as in the home country. The only place or distribution is adjusted in export selling. Okay, so that's what export selling. Basically, you're just selling your product into that. You're exporting your product into a different country. Export marketing, focusing on marketing your product in other countries instead of your own. So you're not selling, you're marketing. Okay. Although the applied strategies are similar to domestic marketing, export marketing tends to be more challenging since you must appeal to different cultures, ideals, and tastes. Okay, guys? So it's a little more difficult than just selling into or just regular domestic marketing. If you're just marketing to your own country, it's a lot more difficult. But there obviously are ways. And in export marketing is different than export selling, because export selling you're actually just physically selling the product there. Export marketing is trying to build awareness of your product. So export selling basically represents an extension strategy whereby products are offered for sale outside the home country without adaptation. Export marketing, by contrast, represents willingness to adapt one or more of the marketing mix elements as required by the characteristics of the target market. Okay. So what are some problems that exporters face? So let's just say you're in Canada, you want to start selling equipment back to India, your hometown in India, and you know it's going to sell really well. But there's some problems that usually exporters face. You guys probably won't face a lot of problems because you're from India, you have family in India, you'll be able to get it all done. But if you're here in Canada, you're trying to sell into, let's say you're trying to sell into China. You guys don't know many people. You probably don't know anyone in China. So this is the stuff that people face when they don't know too many people and they don't have all the connections. So geography and transportation, sometimes distances, most times distance is a real issue. And trying to get your goods to the target market is very difficult. And logistics can be very difficult to get done. Payment methods, you get scammed a lot. You don't get paid for your product. Different legal norms. You don't even know what the legal norms are in China. It could be some craziness that you have to pay 10% GST before you pick up your 10% taxes before you pick up your product, and then you get to get that back on your taxes, something like that. There's all different stuff. Language barriers, communication issues, which could lead to barriers of success. Finding the right importer, you have to have the right connections there, and different customs and cultures. You have to be able to adapt, right? And that's basically a lot of the issues that exporters face. Harmonized tariff system structure. I don't want to get into this too much, but basically is is known as a harmonized system of tariff language. It is an internationally standardized system of names and numbers to classify traded products. Came into effect 1988 and has been developed and maintained by the World Customs Organization, an independent intergovernmental organization based in Brussels, Belgium, over 200 member countries. The harmonized system is organized logically by economic activity or component material. This is a lot of stuff for you guys. You guys will never use this stuff. The HS is organized in 21 sections or subdivided into 99 chapters. Blah 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 blah. Basically, what the harmonized tariff system is they just give a code to all the different types of products that are traded. They give them a name and a number, and then they get taxed on them differently. That's basically it. Okay, so payment systems for trade around the world: cash in advance, letters of credit, documentary collections, open account, consignment. Now, if you guys are trading into a different, you can't just into a different country. It's very difficult to just accept credit card payment, like for a big shipment. Let's say it's a $150,000 shipment. Can't accept credit card payment, or no one's gonna want to send you money before you have all your product. Like it's very rare to get cash in advance. So there's a lot of different other things you can do. So here, let's get into it. Cash in advance basically is you pay for the product up front and then they ship it to you. Okay, it could work with little orders, maybe $10,000, $15,000 orders. But if you're looking at millions of dollars, cash in advance doesn't work. I know this from experience. We used to deal with I used to do $250 million of sales, export sales at my previous company, and no one ever would pay cash in advance. But they would pay cash in advance for let's say I had a customer who was a little closer and he wanted to buy a truck load of oil for me. I would sell it to him, and it was roughly around $35,000. So they would pay that probably in advance. Once a day, so they would pay for the whole week, and then we would send them those trucks once a week. So they were okay with that. So that's cash in advance. Basically, you get money in advance before you sell it. Letters of credit is the most secure payment methods available to international traders. It is a letter from a bank guaranteeing that a buyer's payment to a seller will be received on time and for the correct amount. It is one of the most secure payment methods available to international traders. The buyer sets up a credit and pays his or her bank for this service. A letter of credit is useful when well-founded credit information about a foreign buyer does not exist or is difficult to secure, but the exporter is satisfied with the creditworthiness of the buyer's foreign bank. So basically what happens is the bank goes and secures the money from the client. They take that money and hold it and put it in a holding account. The client's not allowed to touch it. The customer's not allowed to touch it. Right up until the entire contract is completed, where the goods have been shipped and the client has done everything that he wanted. The client has done everything that the customer has asked for based off the contract. That's the only time that the bank will look at all the documents, get signatures from both saying yes, it's completed. Then it would release the money. Okay. So that's letter of credit. Documentary collections. In a documentary collection process, seller instructs their bank to forward documents related to the export of goods to a buyer's bank with an instruction to present these documents to the buyer for payment, pointing when, on what, and circumstances these documents can be released to the buyer. So this is very simple, kind of like a letter of credit, but it's not. So documentary collections. So let's just say we did this a lot actually when we were doing our international trade. So we would fill up oil vessels. They would come in. We'd fill them up with 25 million pounds of oil, and we send them out. And I would have to get all the paperwork done because I was the trader, the commodities trader. So I would have to get all the paperwork done. So I'd have to go to the port and find out exactly how much, get the original documentation on exactly how much oil was transferred from our tanks into that ship. So that was the first thing. So I had to get all that original documentation because this is all required in order to get paid. You get that first. Second, I have to get the bill of lading from the ship. The ship's captain has to send me the bill of lading, which is his confirmation of how much is on the ship, and how much oil is on the ship, and where it's going, and what port it's going to. And so I have to get all the bill of lading from the ship. Third, I have to get I have to get the our surveyors. They would survey the oil to make sure that it meets spec. So I have to get the original spec sheet from the surveyors saying that yes, this oil meets spec. Once that's completed, I have to have a formal invoice completed from our company in order to show the bank that this is how much money we are owed for all the oil that we have transferred to these people. Once all 4 original documentations are completed, we would just send it over to the bank, and then the bank would send us the money, because our client, our customer, required those 4 things. They went to the bank and said, this is what we need. As soon as you guys get this, then you can release the money. If we don't have these 4 things exactly the way that we wanted it, don't release the money. So that's documentary collections. An open account. In open account transactions, where is a sale where the goods are shipped and delivered before payment is due, which is international sales, is typically 30, 60, or 90 days. Okay. Open account is one of the most common forms if you're domestic, right? If you're domestic, if you're working within your own country, your own city, and all that stuff. A lot of us, even in my company I'm working for currently, we give a lot of these big companies terms. We give them 30 days to pay, 60 days to pay, 90 days to pay. We know this. We give them that because we trust them. It's very easy for us to pull a credit history. If their credit's not good, we don't give them terms. If their credit's good, we give them terms. So very, very simple. Now, overseas, it's a little difficult. You have to have a very good relationship with the people overseas. Internationally, if you're doing your trading, if you're doing your exporting, to have an open account. Very, very difficult. Because of high competition in export markets, foreign buyers often press exporters for open account terms, since the extension of credit by the seller to the buyer is more common abroad. Therefore, exporters who are not willing to extend credit may lose their sale to their competitors. It's very tough to give a company overseas. I never did it. I never gave anybody credit. They always asked, oh, give me 30 days, 60 days. I'm like, I don't even know you guys. How am I supposed to just send my oil, like all this millions of dollars worth of oil, and just give it to you for and have you pay me in 30 days? I'm like, I'm not stupid. That's, you gotta be very smart in business, because there's a lot of people trying to con you, a lot of people trying to take your money. And one of our traders actually got conned. Some guy ordered some oil and said, yeah, I'll send the money in. I'll send you guys the money. Don't worry. I'll send it cash in advance before I get these 2-3 trucks. What ended up happening was, for some reason, because we're not allowed to send out the trucks unless we have the payment for an account that doesn't have an open account with us. So for some reason, our system didn't pick up that this was an open account, and our plant sent out the 3 trucks. And when that guy got the 3 trucks, he didn't pay for them. He absolutely hustled our company for around $70,000, I believe. And my CEO was furious. He was swearing, cussing. He's like, how the F did this happen? How the F did you guys give our trucks away for this? He's like, are you guys in on it? Are you guys getting a cut from this guy? He was trying to accuse the traders of working with this customer, sending and getting some money back, like 10,000, 15,000, whatever the hell the money was. They were gonna get this money back. So he was accusing everybody. He was extremely angry. So you got to be very careful. And then consignment is another method of an open account in which payment is sent to the exporter only after the goods are sold by the foreign distributor to the end customer. International consignment transactions is based on the contractual agreement in which the foreign distributor receives, manages, and sells the goods for the exporter, who retains title of goods until they are sold. Clearly, exporting on consignment contains high risk. The exporter may not receive any payment, and its goods are in a foreign country in the hands of independent distributors. So consignment increases the chances of exporters to become more competitive on the basis of a better availability and faster delivery on goods. Selling on consignment can also help exporters reduce the costs of storing and managing inventory. So basically, so like it said up here, Consignment is just another method of open account in which payment is sent to the exporter only after the goods are sold. So consignment is, okay, we got the goods, now we're selling, or now we're going to pay you. Okay, open account is we got the goods, we'll pay you in 30, 60, 90 days. Consignment is we got the goods, we're going to pay you ASAP. But it's very difficult because sometimes you don't get the payment and now your stuff is stuck abroad and you don't even know what to do with it. You don't even know how to get your money. So it's very difficult. Okay guys, you guys having a quiz next week. I'll be seeing you guys live today. Just like yesterday, we can do the same thing. You guys have an assignment. Did I say quiz? I'm an assignment. You have an assignment due next week. I'll be posting that on Monday, so you guys can just do that assignment and hand it over next week. It's going to be 10% of your mark. Don't mess it up. See you guys in class.